This episode is brought to you by Pamela Lee from Elite Title Group, representing all real estate transactions in the state of New Jersey. What's going on? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, your favorite mortgage advisor, Jimmy Mortgage. Today's topic, bilingual in English and Spanish as a Manhattan real estate realtor. Her name is Brenda Moreno. She's a real estate professional with Sirhan in New York City, working in residential investment and rentals. And today she's going to come on she's on Let's Talk About It. So Brenda, welcome to Let's Talk About It. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah.
So real estate, let's talk about it.
Yes. I'm excited. Listen, real estate for me has been an outlet.
Right.
An outlet for me because I've been able to just expand what I thought that I could accomplish as a young adult, and then also inspire people to do the same. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my journey in real estate started by investing myself.
Okay.
Back in 2021. At the time, I think I was about 27 years old.
After the pandemic.
Okay. Right? Or actually like right at the height of it.
Okay.
And so it might have been a year before that then. See, it feels like so long ago. But when I did buy my first investment property, it was a 4-family in Jersey. Right. So many people were curious about how to do the same thing.
Right.
And I said, oh my God, this is easier than it sounds or what it may seem online. And so I wanted to be on the sales side to guide people to be able to do the same. And then from then, the rest has been history. I
love it. So you're coming from an experience of an investor yourself, right?
Yes.
One in New York, one in New Jersey, right?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So
yep.
You are a landlord too, right?
Yes.
And at the same time, you bring a certain set of lenses because when you're doing your realtor side of the business, you know things that are missing for first-time home buyers.
Yep.
And for investors because they're looking for returns on investment. Can you talk about that? What's that?
Absolutely.
What's that like?
Yeah. What's that like? Listen, I'm going to say this, and some viewers may be upset, but the reality is that I think that a lot of what I call my secret sauce is being a landlord.
Okay.
And also owning real estate because a lot of agents don't.
That is unique.
And that's unique. And again, I do think this is the one industry where we should be getting high on our own supply because, there's so much generation.
She took a biggie small.
No, really, there's just so much generational wealth
right.
to be created from investing in real estate,
This
right?
is true.
And so for me, when I deal with first-time home buyers, when I deal with, sellers, I'm talking to them from the perspective of being an active buyer and then possibly being an active seller at some point.
Right.
All of the nuances that I've went through while purchasing property, I know how to guide buyers to either, avoid those or how are we gonna cross this bridge when we do get there.
Right.
Right. And then I also come with a set of, contacts, right? That I use in my own personal properties. You know how difficult it is to recommend people.
Yeah, you got to have people on your payroll.
Exactly.
Right.
I recommend people that I use in my everyday life, in my own properties, in my investments, in my personal home. So it's a different set of skills that I bring because I am the buyer. I was the buyer. I know what buyers are looking at.
Okay.
I know it's all psychological. I know that it's all emotional.
It means a lot.
It means a lot.
Right,
and I know that because I've purchased myself.
Right.
And I remember looking and saying, oh my God, the kitchen, the bed, the bath. And then I also know when investors or younger buyers who are buying solely for investment, they're like, okay, what can we rent this for?
Right.
They don't care about the bathroom.
Right.
They don't care about the floors.
So you understand the margins.
I understand the margins.
Right.
And that's why also from a listing side, I'm able to, just really hone in on what kind of buyers are coming into the property. Mm-hmm. Is it more of an investor or is it a first-time home buyer? And these are the issues we need to anticipate and how can we get ahead of them?
So you have the magic tools in the toolbox.
I have the magic tools.
I love it. So with all this experience, right, how have you seen the Manhattan market, right? Because that's a unique...
Pause, I do mainly Brooklyn.
You do mainly Brooklyn, right?
Okay.
But I've seen you do some listings or co-list with some.
Yes.
With Lower East Side. You did that viral video with cats dying on Lower East Side. How was that experience like?
Well, that experience has been eye-opening, especially for Lower East Side. As I say in the video, is a very gritty part of New York City. Mm-hmm. So we are calling out artists, producers, people in TV, people who want to be in the grit of it all, while still being close to your Soho, your Village, and still having an opportunity opportunity to be in Manhattan at a very low price.
Right.
So what I'm seeing is there's a lot of younger people who are like, kind of taking a liking to the Lower East Side.
The
people who are
trendy-ish
starting,
area,
the
right?
trendy,
Right.
right? We're seeing like the Williamsburg people where Williamsburg is already too expensive.
Right.
They might be able to get into the Lower East Side, right?
Now they
Which
can,
is
right.
crazy
Right.
because a lot of people say the opposite.
Right.
People get priced out of Manhattan and go to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But for the Lower East Side population, what I'm seeing is actually a lot of people who are getting priced out of those artsy places or neighborhoods, I should say, in Brooklyn and coming into the Lower East Side, being in the center of it all, but still being able to afford it, right? Because people don't want to be house poor.
Right. My in-laws live in LES. So, yeah, so I'm very familiar with it.
You know, exactly.
And I saw when Sirhan took a certain area and called it Tribeca West.
Okay.
So there's a lot of good things going to what your point said, the Lower East Side. I think they're working on an MTA system over there right now to help with that commute. Have you ever had Cat's Diner? Because when you talked about it, I think it's the best, hands down, pastrami sandwich. But have you ever had it?
The day of the shoot, it was, first of all, everyone. What was it? I think it was like -4 degrees.
-4.
And I was freezing. And I had an opportunity.
The outfit was banging though.
Thank you.
I mean, like,
no, we're always going to look good.
Okay.
We're always going to look good. My name is Heels and Deals on social media. Obviously, Brenda Moreno for in real life.
Right.
But I think, the style that I bring to real estate is something that sets me apart. I have people come up to me in the street and say, "Are you Heels and Deals?" And it's crazy. But
that's what's up.
I haven't had cats. I could have that day. There was no line because it was freezing out.
Yeah, it's
and I was
online
tempted, but I really wanted to get the shot. Every time I attempt to, the line is down the block. And this is why, I put it in my video that if you live there, you can obviously avoid the lines.
This is true.
You have it blocked away.
That's what's up. So you going back to, you mentioned Brooklyn, right? Bed-Stuy specifically.
Yeah.
Can we talk about some of the things that are happening in Bed-Stuy right now? And what are you seeing for potential buyers and investors?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually are about to put in contract a 3-family in Bed-Stuy.
Okay.
And it was a complete bang. There was just so much interest from investors and end users alike, right? And what we're seeing is that a lot of buyers are not, especially if they want to afford these up and coming neighborhoods or up and coming blocks, right? Because Bed-Stuy's already there. They're not too afraid of doing a little bit of the dirty work.
Right.
There are some buyers at a different tier who don't need that headache, and they're just willing to go in and just buy completely turnkey.
What do we call them houses? Like they've not gentrified, but the
Landmarks.
Landmarks, yeah. They have some of those, and sometimes you see that you just walk by, you're like, even from the post from the stairs, you're like, yo, this is banging. This is like, it always reminds me, not Clinton Hill because it's next to Clinton Hill, but it reminds me of the Huxtables.
Yes.
When you get the Cosby Show, when you go to Bed-Stuy, because every time I walk by, and I in purpose, when I travel, I get off of Atlantic Avenue and I walk to Bed-Stuy to take it all in. Because being in Jersey, you don't get to see all that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So getting off Atlantic Avenue, and I'll plug Angelique's Cafe. Right, she's been talking about Bed-Stuy for a minute, and I'll go to her cafe spot, and sometimes Charles Noonan, he has his events over there. So there's a lot of good things. But what I do love about it, when I get off on Atlantic Avenue and I walk over to Bed-Stuy, I take in all the culture, the do the right thing, like all that comes up to me. So shout out to you and how you are dominating that area, because it is a growing area. You can get bang for your buck, right?
Absolutely.
So what's unique about Bed-Stuy, they have downstairs apartments. Are they considered ADUs? Because that's important.
They're considered garden units, so they are legal units.
They are legal units.
Yes.
So those can be rented, right?
Those can be rented.
Do you see a growth in that now, when people buying that needs to be considered part of their investment?
I would say yes. Not necessarily a growth, but I think it's a plus.
A plus,
right?
okay.
Because what it becomes is an exchangeable unit, right? For lack of better words, or a unit that can be so many things.
Right.
Whether it's an in-law suite,
Right.
whether it becomes a nanny suite, whether it's where you host your guests who come from out of town,
Right.
or whether it is, a place where you actually have a tenant.
So
right?
A bonus with potential.
A bonus with potential. And then there's also, the bed and breakfast, that if you register and go all those hoops, you can go out. Yeah, you can go out and you can profit.
Talk about
you can profit from that. You have to obviously live in the unit. Right. So it has to be owner occupied. But I was actually speaking to an architect about this 2 weeks ago at 77A Green. 770A Green. And she was saying that there's a ton of people who also are, capitalizing off the bed and breakfast. And the fact that it's still an opportunity, ton of paperwork to do with the city, registering the property. But again, people are traveling from all over to come to Bed-Stuy.
Why not, man? It's,
Yeah.
just Bed-Stuy, man. It's just I rely on Bed-Stuy to shut it down and find that, right? It's like
the block parties,
the block party,
everything.
Right.
There's just so many.
So much happening.
There's so many things happening. So much culture, right? And the people have a mixed conversation about the culture and word shifting. But what I will say is that being on the Bed-Stuy blocks, being on the streets, people feel part of a community.
Right.
And I think that, it's funny because a lot of people say, I want to go to Jersey to raise my family. You can do that in Bed-Stuy too.
You can. Yes, you can.
You can do that in Bed-Stuy too. And I was like, I encourage them to go out and walk some of these blocks before going over the water. Of course, if that's a preference, it's a preference.
Right.
But there's a lot of neighborhoods in Brooklyn that are just very well equipped and fit for a family.
Love it. And you mentioned block parties, right? So my boy Carlito from Haitiano, now with Block Association, they do a lot of block parties in Bed-Stuy. It's crazy, like watching the DJs come out and everybody's giving out food and people double dutching. I'm like, yo, the only thing that's missing at times is like they don't open up the fire hydrant.
Right.
Right. If you could picture that a little bit, right? Back in the days, we used to scrape these cans and open up the fire hydrant.
Yeah, we didn't go to the pools.
Oh no.
We went to the fire hydrant. Jeans, t-shirt, whatever we had on.
Let
we were
it
there.
rip. Right. Let it rip. So going to what you were saying, like that's kind of cool. Like having those block parties, having those gatherings, the community, and all the good stuff that comes along with it. So, yeah, I love it. If you're looking for ISAs and marketing, please contact J. Lopez Enterprise, servicing all 50 states. So, being a unique realtor, how is it speaking Spanish and English? How do you deal with some of those clients, right? Because that's another skill that you have, right?
Absolutely.
Not everybody can do that.
Absolutely. I think to me is an extreme benefit.
Okay.
And especially when I'm dealing with a lot of sellers, there's a lot of documentation that is involved in a real estate transaction.
Correct.
And a lot of Latinos, my Hispanic people, I grew up being a translator at 10 years old for my mom.
Really?
Like she didn't know any English and it was, hey, Brenda, translate this, translate that.
Okay.
So from very young, I had to kind of be that liaison between medical records, housing records for my parents.
Okay.
So this is something that comes very natural to me.
I see.
But what I will say is that a lot of clients feel very comfortable when an agent is bilingual because there's a lot of information that's heavy and that's important.
Yeah.
And then they need to be translated into the Spanish language so that they can understand it, especially before signing anything.
Right.
So it's a huge benefit to me because I can be two people.
Yeah.
Right? I can talk to the attorney in English. I am two people, right?
Yeah,
I can talk to the attorney in English,
Right.
and then I can turn around and translate it perfectly for my clients in Spanish so that they feel safe, you know, they feel assured, and they also feel secure before they sign.
What I like about it too, right? In speaking Spanish, right? Someone could be very versed in English, but they just want to speak Spanish because they're comfortable speaking.
Because they're comfortable,
right?
100%.
So you got to talk about that too. So it's kind of cool to see that you can use that skill, right? Translate at 10. I didn't even know that. That's dope. Yes. Hey, mom's got to get certain places, and
that's right.
Brenda's gonna help you out.
Brenda's gonna help you out, and I need to make sure my mom is not signing anything strange. So I was always doing that, and it's my pleasure to do it because I do think that our Hispanic community, they want to buy property. A lot of people who are coming, you know, from foreign countries who've been here for a while, they want those opportunities, and sometimes they're afraid to even have the conversation with the lender, with a realtor, because of the language barrier. So knowing that they have an ally, that they have someone who can translate this very heavy information to bring them across that path of reaching the American dream, why not?
There you go. I love it. I like how you sum it up. Why not? The American dream.
Right. Yeah, and I have Spanish content coming up. A ton of people tell me, Brenda, you need to put out content in Spanish.
Right, because someone...
You know,
it's
coming.
You should.
Yeah.
You should do it in heels and something in Spanish. I don't know.
Tacos y contratos.
Oh, here we go. Here you go. We can use that. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you something. You know, as we know, Brooklyn's a competitive market, right? We talked about Bed-Stuy, but we have Crown Heights, we have Flatbush, we have Bay Ridge. So what commonality you seeing that first-time home buyers are getting into that you can provide where they need to remove that layer of concern? What advice would you give first-time home buyers? Because they're watching Let's Talk About It, and I want to make sure they don't come from a place of fear, because the Google machine, the AI machine will say certain things, and those things are only as good when someone's putting into it, right? But you have that, again, that skill, that value proposition. It's not really what you're seeing. Let me tell you specifically what's going on. So what are some of the misconceptions or things that you could advise first-time home buyers stepping into a competitive Brooklyn market to get their deals accepted?
For sure. The first thing I'd say is FHA deals are not dead, right?
Right. That's another misconception.
That's another
FHA,
misconception. And they're not.
Right.
But what I will say is connect with an agent. And I actually made a video about this a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Make sure you're interviewing your agent. Relationships are going to matter. Correct. Right? Relationships are going to matter more than anything. FHA deals still means that the sellers walk away with a check and the buyer's walking away with a property.
Right.
Right. So making sure that your agent has great industry relationships are going to be important.
Okay.
Right. They're going to be important because making sure that you have an agent that can connect on the other end by phone. Right. So that's connecting on the other end by phone, having conversations, not just texting, but picking up the phone and really honing in, not to necessarily give them a love letter or a synopsis about how much the client loves the home, but really speaking to the other agent and having a conversation about how they can be competitive, how much the buyer wants the home, how it will close. Guaranteeing somewhat of a smooth transaction is going to be pivotal, right? Secondly to that, I'd say making sure that you have an agent who understands the neighborhoods that are up and coming. Right. So maybe you can't afford Bay Ridge, but I can show you a neighborhood that is very similar to it. Right. And then in a couple of years, maybe the next Bay Ridge.
Correct.
Right. And be open to different areas of Brooklyn because the upside is there.
The upside is there.
The upside is there.
It's going to be
the upside is there. And again, even if it's a situation where you're buying and maybe you're leasing until the neighborhood really takes that turn, but now you're out of the rat race. You have your property. And when the neighborhood truly makes the turn, you'll come back and you don't have to purchase it.
I love it. And I love why you said FHA is not dead. I think
not.
It pains me at times when someone on the other side, I'm just going to be careful with my words because I don't want it to go viral, right? Oh, they don't take FHA. I'm like, why would you say that? Did you educate your buyer on FHA? Are you just saying because at times there can be some inspection issues where that has to be addressed in order to get the deal done? Are you going through it, or are you just saying, don't do it, I just want conventional only because we live in the market? That NBA loans too, right? They do the same thing. Some will say, no, we just want the conventional because they just want the quick transaction.
Absolutely.
But I'm like, how could you be a proponent for someone to owning a home without taking the time to understand where they're coming up with their finances, right? So at times, they don't take FHA. But what if I told you I'm doing 10% down with FHA?
Correct.
Oh, you don't take FHA now? Oh, well, no, I don't know. Like, why? Like, why are you not educating your seller? Like, this is an FHA, but this person's putting 10% down.
Correct.
In some cases, for some, when you look at FHA, the rate is better. Yes, you have mortgage insurance premium.
I was just going to say that. Sometimes it's the rate.
It's
not even that they want to go FHA. The rates are just better.
The rates are just better, right? And so that 1.75 that's applied to take an FHA, that's on the back end of the loan. So someone walking in and getting that house, putting 10% down, they may get a rate of 5.5, 5.6, where they're on conventional putting 10% down. They're dealing with a rate of 6.5. That's a huge difference when you're looking at price points above $500,000 on loan amount. So this is why I love how you position the fact that FHA is not dead. I'm hoping we capture this caption, it's not dead, right? VA, FHA is not dead. You have to educate your sellers. Now, as a listing agent, if the FHA house is applicable, it's only one way to find out. Just ask the lender you work with, can I get a handbook of FHA? What are the things that they look for? Help them.
Or send them the listing.
Yeah, send the listing. And then let's make it work. Let's dial in putting our values together. Stop using generative AI to be like this. Yeah. Because if that's the case, if you're taking the shortcut, I promise you, when you say AI is taking my job, it's because you're being lazy
and
about certain things.
And not going the extra mile.
You're not going extra mile, right. Yeah. AI can solve these things, but why not go the extra mile? Educate. Create these venues for buyers to feel applicable to purchasing a home. Let's face it, it's not cheap to own a home anymore.
It's not.
It's not. So we, as professionals, we got to find ways to get clients into the home and get sellers to get into another home, right? So at the end of the day, we got to create that roller coaster situation where everybody benefits and they can call on to you to when it comes for any future services, right?
Absolutely.
I love it.
And Jimmy, I think that FHA buyers are sometimes the most hungry buyers.
Yeah.
The most motivated.
Yeah, yeah.
And I learned very early in real estate that when a buyer wants the house, it'll close.
Yes.
It'll close.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the FHA being dead, phenomenon or rumor is because a lot of agents aren't getting on the phone anymore.
Right.
They see an offer come in with FHA and it's a no. Right? Let's have a conversation. Tell me about the buyer.
Right.
Pick up the phone. Let's talk.
Right.
And when AI is going to take our jobs, or they say AI is taking our jobs, it's also because of that.
Right.
Because we're losing human connection. Agents don't want to talk on the phone. They want to text, email their assistants, and they're no longer being at the forefront of the deal.
Oh my gosh, she is dropping some gems. Brenda,
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I love
I'm
it.
saying we can talk about it.
Yeah, we need to solve for that. And
Yeah.
I'm happy when potential buyers and listing clients are coming to you, you equip with them with that information, right? You're telling them, this is how I do it. This is my proposition. Again, going back to I'm an investor. I help first-time home buyers. You can circle all that. I know that you are amazing when it comes to stuff like this. So
Thank you.
You articulate it
I also
very
flipped
well.
the house though too.
Yeah,
just so you know, on my own. So I know hard money too.
Right. Okay.
A little
There
here
you
and
go.
there. It's all good. There's a lot to offer to clients when they come to me. But I think a lot of it also comes from my knowledge of what and what not to do because I've done it.
Right. This episode is brought to you by Carrasco, Quintana, a local real estate firm located in the state of New Jersey. They're here to help you with all your real estate needs. So let's shift things a little bit. How is it like working with Sirhan? Because that group is a marketing machine.
Yes.
What nuggets do you take from it to help the heels and deals in real estate?
Yeah.
Like, we got to talk about that.
So the number one thing that Ryan talks about often is building your personal brand.
That's important.
Right? There has to be an and on your page. For me, it's real estate and motherhood, real estate and fashion, real estate and, high level marketing, professional videos, right? Because there's a value to that. And I'm building my brand brick by brick. And I want to be known for heels and deals, for many years to come. And I want people to understand that a lot of what I do is real estate, but I'm always going to look good. I'm always going to look good doing it. Because presentation matters in different stages of real estate at different price points. How you show up is your silent resume.
Nuggets. How you show up is your silent resume. I like that one. That's a good line. Yeah, you're right. And especially when you're lending money, right? Like, I'm not coming to you with a hoodie. I'm not doing certain things. I get it. This is who you are as an individual. Sometimes you're comfortable around those surroundings, but I'm very old school. If someone's coming to me, to my office, or we're having any type of conversations, collar shirts, a button down, I just want to make sure.
You're traditional.
Right. I want to keep them comfortable because that's a lot of money. And like we said, first impression is everything. Look, I get it. It is what it is, but I feel comfortable knowing that if I have certain things that I'm dressed, I don't have nothing to worry about. If the fear of not using me wouldn't be because of my outfit.
Correct.
Because maybe you're not comfortable, and I get it. It's all good. But at that point, to your point, you got to dress the part anytime you're doing when it comes to real estate.
I've never heard someone say, I don't want to work with this person because they dress too well. But I've heard the opposite.
Right. Yeah.
But I've heard the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. So you focus on fashionista, right? Because, recently was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
So you had the Chanel shoes. Like, all right, I'm not I'm going to, I have daughters, so they're going to be paying attention. So how do you ensemble some of these things, and what sets you apart from others when it comes to fashion?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do a mix of high and low.
Okay.
I recently got into vintage, so I'm very big into the vintage field now. Vintage bag, vintage shoes, and it's all about where I'm going, right? Is it a mixer? Is it an open house? Is it just a showing with a client? Is it the first time I'm meeting them? How do I want to show up? Right. And then obviously the weather comes to play, right? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Is it raining? Is it brutally cold like we had this winter.
Right.
But how do I want to show up? Right? How do I want to show up? I want to make sure I smell good. I want to make sure that, it's a lasting impression when people see me.
Right.
And I think that, I'm known for that now.
Okay.
And I don't take that lightly anymore. It's a lot of pressure now. Right? People's like, what are you wearing? And what is Heels and Deals going to wear?
Okay.
So there's some of that. But I mix a bit of high and low. I want to be comfortable, but never too comfortable, especially when meeting a new client.
Right.
And at my open houses, I may do a mother jean with a relaxed, button up and maybe like a signature bell.
Okay.
And I may drape a blazer.
Okay.
I still want to be, it's a Sunday. Sometimes you want to be comfortable, but you never know who you're going to meet. Right? So I still need to be on. Whereas like if I meet a new client who's going to take me to new heights, I'm prepared.
I love it. Yeah. So with all that said, can you give me 1 or 2 restaurants you like to go to and where do you would like to visit this year?
Oh my God, 1 or 2 restaurants I like to go to. Jesus, I go to so many, but one of my favorites is Pasta Eater on Union Square.
Okay.
I did a video of that restaurant actually on my Heels and Deals Explore, which those videos are gonna come back.
Okay.
And then another that I've been loving, it's in Fort Greene, and I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember the name. Is it Saragina?
Okay.
Saragina.
In Fort Greene.
In Fort Greene.
Okay, what kind of food
right
is
on
this?
DeKalb. They have like an Italian cuisine.
Okay.
I think there's some American dishes in there.
Okay.
But I love the food there. I like the vibe. The lights are dim. You can go for lunch or, they open around 4, so like a late lunch. But I love the vibe there. And then you can just walk around the neighborhood and be inspired. So
The other day, the wife and I, we were hanging out. We went to Locali's, the Brooklyn Pizza. I think.
Oh my God, I saw someone post about that.
Yeah, Locali's. The owner's mad cool, hands down pizza. We kept it simple. We were eating pizza on the street with a bottle of wine. It was just like because it was crowded, and then eventually we got in. But it was just like the whole the transition of getting pizza in Brooklyn, walking from Atlantic Avenue, going to Locali's in Tower Gardens. It was just like. It just feels so good. And don't get me wrong, I love New Jersey. At times, I don't have to go into the city as much, but when I do, I make it a whole day.
It's a day.
Yeah.
There's so much to look forward to in New York.
I love it.
From the culture, the food, the fashion, the homes, the tree line blocks. New York has everything.
It is. So what's your next place to travel? What's that?
Travel. So I was supposed to go on a solo trip for my birthday. But now that, work has picked up and I'm excited, spring market is here.
That's a good thing.
That's a great thing. I'm not complaining.
Right.
So I'm thinking Amalfi Coast in August.
Amalfi Coast. Okay. There you go. South of France. There you go. I love it. So Brenda, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
At Heels and Deals on Instagram, Brenda@Turhan.com via email. And then you have to Google my phone number.
There you go. You don't want them spam mail. Those spam calls. Yeah. So everyone else, if you're looking for mortgage needs, mortgage matters, as always, you can find me on Let's Talk About It, Jimmy Mortgage. Again, thank you, Brenda, for coming on Let's Talk About It.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Hey, listeners, are you looking to improve your home comfort and save on your energy bills? Let's talk about Seal Power. They've been awarded Energy Star Sustained Excellence Award seen on Good Morning America, the New York Times, and World News. Seal Power is dedicated to keeping your home cozy while saving you money. Check out their website for tips and incentives and more at CIELPOWER.com. Stay comfortable and save with Seal Power, where comfort meets efficiency. Follow them on Instagram for updates and more, and let's talk about it as well. Thank you.